On the foreign scene, 5 persons have been handed the death sentence for their role in the murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi in October last year. The Riyadh Criminal Court convicted them on committing and directly participating in the murder of the victim. Here's Juliana Olayenka with more international news in Around the World in 5.
Good evening from the Channel's newsroom in London. Saudi Arabia's public prosecutor has announced that 5 people have been sentenced to death over the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. 3 others have received jail terms totalling 24 years. Khashoggi was a US resident and a critic of Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. He was last seen at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul October last year. His body was reportedly dismembered and removed from the building. His remains have not been found. The killing caused a global uproar, tarnishing the Crown Prince's image. Bushfires in Australia are now burning in 5 different states, with emergency services warning that at least 60 fires are out of control. Over the weekend, the scorching heat destroyed over 180 homes and killed 1 person. Firefighters are preparing for worsening conditions post-Christmas.
Your house has to be prepared, but you have to be prepared, and you have to be prepared physically and mentally to be able to withstand the onslaught of a fire. So, and everybody in the household has to be prepared to do that, because the worst thing you can do is take a run for it at the last minute.
According to authorities, over 9 million acres of land has been destroyed, including 1/3 of South Australia's vineyards.
Well, what I know is that the need to take action on climate change hasn't changed, and you don't run government on sentiment. You run government on the facts, and you run government on what you need to do to protect our environment and its sustainability for the future, to protect our economy and the jobs and the livelihoods that Australians depend on. What you run government on and the decisions you take are based on those important facts, and the facts when it comes to addressing climate change, and the facts on when it comes to ensuring we have a strong economy which provides people with the livelihoods that they depend on, they remain the same.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has inaugurated a railway bridge linking Russia's 2 biggest cities to Crimea, which Moscow annexed from Ukraine in 2014. The 11.9-mile, $3.6 billion bridge is the longest in Europe, and by next year it's estimated that up to 14 million passengers and 13 million tonnes of cargo will move across it. The annexation of Crimea was met with widespread international outcry, including US and EU sanctions on Russia. At least 11 people have been killed and more than 300 treated in hospital after drinking coconut wine in the Philippines. The poisoning occurred in Laguna and Quezon, 2 provinces south of Manila. All of the victims had consumed lambanog, a drink popular in provinces and consumed widely during holidays and celebrations. Unregulated production and sales of the beverage are common in the Southeast Asian country, and it is often made illegally with dangerous additives. Britain's Prince Charles says his father is being looked after very well in hospital.
Sir, could we ask how your father is?
Well, he's being looked after very well in hospital. But at the moment, that's all we know. Thank you very much.
The comments were made during a visit to flood-hit areas of England. Prince Philip, the 98-year-old husband of Queen Elizabeth, was taken to hospital last week as a precaution for treatment of an existing condition. The monarch hopes her husband will still be able to join the rest of the family for their festivities later in the week. Algeria's powerful military chief has died following a heart attack. Lieutenant General Ahmed Gayed Salah, who was instrumental in bringing down longtime President Abdelaziz Bouteflika, was 79 years old. His death comes at a time when the country is gripped by political uncertainty after 10 months of pro-democracy protests. Demonstrators are demanding that the ruling elite quits power and that the influential military steps back from politics. Ecuador's Reventado volcano erupted on the weekend. As the molten lava splashed and gushed down its slopes, it created a stunning scene in the darkness, as you can see here. Reventador is one of the country's most remote volcanoes, located in the Amazon region. The last major eruption took place in 2002, affecting some 2 million people. And finally, ahead of China's 2022 Winter Olympics hosting duties, residents from the country's Inner Mongolia region have been participating in their own seasonal fun and games. In Artson City, where the snowy weather lasts for about 7 months a year, a winter marathon drew about 1,000 participants from across the country. The sporting event consists of a full marathon, a half marathon and a mini one of 5 kilometres. Runners experienced a unique combination of steaming hot enthusiasm for sports and frosty hats and clothes in the freezing cold weather. And that's your international news around the world in 5.
Very nice indeed, Juliana. Olumide Macaulay has sports news.
Thank you, Gimba. President of the Nigeria Badminton Federation, Francis Obi, says the country's badminton players are in good position to qualify for the 2020 Tokyo Olympic Games. He says the players will compete in more international events in the coming year to gain ranking points that will seal their spots in Tokyo. Arsenal new manager Mikel Arteta says the Gunners have a really good squad that can be improved, but the players must take up responsibility and be accountable for their actions on the pitch if they're to be part of the club's future plans. The 37-year-old will make his managerial debut with 11th placed Arsenal when they travel to Bournemouth on Boxing Day. He says he will put the most competitive team out and believes his side will be well prepared. Tottenham Hotspur manager Jose Mourinho has condemned racism in football after claims that racist abuse was directed at a Chelsea player during Sunday's English Premier League match. Chelsea defender Antonio Rudiger alleges he was racially abused after he was involved in an incident which Tottenham's son was red-carded and indicated shortly afterwards he'd been the victim of a monkey gesture from the home fans. He wants fans to monitor the behavior of others around them in the stadium and if they detect racist behavior, to stop it immediately. That's sports news. Gimba, back to you.
Brilliant. And the main news again, some protesters today disrupted a rally organised by civil society groups to demand the immediate release of Revolution Now convener Omoyele Sowore and other perceived political detainees. The initially peaceful rally later turned violent as one of the co-conveners of the rally, Deji Adeyanju, escaped being lynched. Also today, the appeal court sitting in Abuja affirmed the candidacy of Bayelsa State Deputy Governor-elect Bill Barakuma Degi Eremienyo. The court also rejected the High Court ruling which nullified his eligibility to contest during the governorship elections. And the Saudi court today sentenced 5 persons to death over their role in the murder of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi. That's the news at 10 tonight. I want to thank you so much indeed for watching. On behalf of all of us here, have a splendid night. Good night.